first place, and the pickup animations are annoying because there's so much to pick up due to the process of crafting. Instead of reworking the game to remove the problems, Guerrilla Games opted to stick band-aids on them, to excuse the American vernacular. Unfortunately, band-aids don't fix broken bones. Guerrilla Games spent an inordinate amount of time making Forbidden West to look insanely pretty in 4K. It's an incredible looking game, and look, maybe it's my age, but I just don't care much about graphical fidelity. It's well below gameplay and story and things I look for, and I'd go for style over realism every day. As you can tell, this critique veers heavily negative because I'm incredibly disappointed in the game. However, I don't think it's a bad game. It's at least decent, maybe good. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. The thing is, nearly everything good about Forbidden West was also good in Zero Dawn, and I've already talked about that game at length. My Horizon Zero Dawn video was my very first video for this channel 5 years ago, which means this channel is 5 years old again. I will try to be positive where it's due, but I desperately want to put some constructive criticism out there because we're clearly going to get a third game, and I don't want to see the same problems repeated in 5 years' time. Forbidden West doesn't have one glaring problem that could be easily fixed. There's no one game Guerrilla Games could copy from to solve all its problems. No, not that one, or that one. But the answers are all out there, spread across multiple games. Guerrilla Games didn't need to break open new game design doors, it simply needed to walk through ones other game developers have already opened, or at least left a key under the mat. In rough order, Horizon Forbidden West's problems are quest design, exploration and environmental navigation, general open world nonsense, crafting, combat, story, and then performance. Many of these areas overlap. Quest design in Forbidden West is just tragic. I'm not sure if it's actually worse than that of similar games, or if it's just I'm getting so fed up with the formula that it feels worse. It doesn't matter, subjectivity and all that. Most missions follow a familiar pattern. Go to place, look around with focus, follow path with focus, maybe climb a bit, fight monster, find ninjas or whatever. Not always in that order, but that's the issue. I remember when The Witcher 3 came out in 2015, people fairly complained about how the quests were overly reliant on using Witcher vision to follow paths instead of letting the player do the work. The whole spam special vision mode thing was becoming a bit overplayed. As someone who loves The Witcher 3 overall, this didn't ruin the game for me, but it was clearly something future games should look to improve upon, and it probably needed phasing out. Cut to 7 years later, where we are still doing the same damn thing. This is not just a Forbidden West problem, and I don't expect Guerrilla Games to necessarily break new ground, although it would be nice. Maybe that means this criticism isn't quote-unquote fair, but it's a problem regardless. The crazy part is that in some follow the trail missions, you can actually see the footsteps you're following without focus. You don't need to use it, but if you don't, Aloy keeps telling you to, and the game doesn't know how to react, particularly when companions are following. Forbidden West offers a choice of Explorer or Guided mode, with Explorer supposedly putting limited information on the HUD and Guided a lot more. When combined with a dynamic HUD option, the screen is fairly minimal, although you are still guided directly to the exact spot you need to be. They also turned off the tooltips, but they kept appearing anyway. Whatever mode you pick, you're told where to go at all times, and Gaia helps you steer off that path. The best example of the quest design with uncertain flexibility was a mission to break into a refuge. The game wants you to approach from a certain direction to force you to fight a small group outside first, before moving into the camp for the main event. What no one at Guerrilla seems to have realised is that this is an open world game, and there's nothing to stop you heading slightly off the path and make it directly to the camp, instead of walking the long way around. I walked behind the small group, undetected, and to the front door of the camp. I'd avoided the fight entirely and could now progress into the camp, except of course I couldn't. The game wouldn't let me. There's a ladder here that you need someone to knock down for you, but they just sit there silently until you defeat the other enemies. You can't shout to them or ask them to knock it down. You might be wondering why you even need a ladder here. That scaffolding looks perfectly climbable for someone with Aloy's ability, right? Well, no. Guerrilla Games turn the climbing points off here to stop you doing that, even though quite honestly I could climb this, and I'm 38 years old with tendinitis in my shoulders. Once you defeat the nearby enemies, this person perks up and knocks down the ladder. As you'll see shortly, the quest design problems are closely linked to the exploration issues. There's a quest where you crash land after a hot air balloon ride. You need to push forward but are faced with an insurmountable wall. And by insurmountable, I mean very much surmountable, but Guerrilla turned the climbing markers on, something it does quite a lot, as we'll see. You can just about get up here anyway if you're persistent, but it won't help you much because the NPC can't climb. So what's the point of this game? Why has